Over these past couple of videos talking about VShojo and Niji Sanji, one of the topics that I've brought up in passing multiple times is sponsorships and merch deals, and how VTubers really want to get really good deals when they're sponsoring products and when they're selling merch with their face on it, and how oftentimes when they're not getting a good cut of those deals, they leave, as is very likely the case when it comes to Nyanners, Veve, and Silverveil leaving VShojo, a talent agency whose primary goal is simply getting them those deals. And in that vein, news VTuber False ID released this bombshell.
We have our own story. This is regarding a very colorful company, a company in charge of numerous VTubers and who has had immense success. But now the question is, have they been sharing that success with their talents? Often part of that success comes from merchandise sales. And regarding this colorful company, we have heard in the past that the particular merchandise sales, while successful, are not exactly the best way to support the talents directly. So just how much do the talents make from merchandise in this colorful company? A fantastic question. And recently we had heard a number given to us directly from a very trusted source, so much so that we moved on and asked others. We then verified other ranges, and it turns out it is, well, not half. Perhaps no one was expecting a 50-50 split, but what about a third? I mean, that could be potentially reasonable. Again, the talents are doing a lot of the hard work and heavy lifting, putting their image out there and maintaining it, right? Even some fans could accept 25%, a quarter of some of those merchandise sales going directly to the talents. Well, at least maybe potentially we're still in the double digits, right? I mean, that's maybe still a legitimate number that could somehow, after a lot of sales, work out to the talent's advantage. Well, after hearing what we had heard, and again, this is something that, yes, you're going to have to take our word for it, as we had taken the word from others, we eventually were given a range. That range being in the lower single digits, ranging from 1 to 3%. Yes, that's right. We have an average of 2% of merchandise sales potentially going to the talents of this very colorful company. A company that has seen immense success in the past and has official merchandise in official stores, and is certainly moving large numbers of merchandise along with it. Meanwhile, next up, let's go ahead and talk about Niji Sanji, who, oh, look at that, is announcing more merchandise.
Now, False ID never cites a source for this information. He just claims that he's getting this information from a trusted source. And I personally 100% believe him. I don't think he's pulling these numbers out of his ass. And while 1 to 3% is definitely criminally low for a percentage for a talent to receive for their merch sales, I do, however, think I do understand exactly what's going on and why these numbers are so low. So I'm going to show you guys something. If I were to go on Teespring right now and try to sell flip-flops, right? I wanted to sell flip-flops with my face on them as merch. The base minimum price that I could sell these flip-flops for is $30. I have to sell them for at least $30 before I even break even. So I would have to bump up that price to like $35 just to make $5 a sale, or $40 to make it $10 a sale. I would have to sell flip-flops, cheapo plastic flip-flops, for $40 just to make 10 bucks. And when you go to the Niji Sanji merch store, a lot of their items are very cheap. We're talking, you know, $3.70 for these acrylic stands, $4.45 for the hologram badges. This couch cushion that they're selling for $28.15 probably cost around $25 to produce minimum. So the amount that they're actually tacking on to the final sale price of their merchandise is almost certainly only a couple of bucks. So with this cushion, for example, if we assume the base price for that cushion is $25 and they're selling it for $28.15, we're already dealing with a profit margin of around 8 or 9%. So if a talent is only getting 2% of the final sale, of a product where the company itself is only making 8% of the final sale, that's actually a 25% cut. And I think that's where these numbers are coming from and why they are so ridiculously low. Do the talents deserve a larger cut of the final product than 1 to 3%? Absolutely. Is it totally unreasonable to just charge like $1 more for every product so the talent can get a larger cut? I think that would be totally reasonable. But I think Niji Sanji is trying to keep the prices for their merch as low as possible to make it as affordable as possible so that the highest number of fans can purchase merchandise. So I want to be very, very clear as I possibly can. Niji Sanji is still in the wrong, but not as insanely in the wrong as you're probably thinking when you heard that news story. And I want everyone to have the most realistic picture of what's going on before you all get angry and go shred Niji Sanji in the Twitter comments. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to clear that up because selling merch is something that I've done before, and I realized that it was so unprofitable to do so that I completely stopped selling merch because making so little off a merch item that's already so expensive just wasn't worth it. But that's all I got. Bye, guys.